Cocos2D Sample Project Memory Game Part 3. In the previous chapters, we added backgrounds, sprites, etc. to the scenes. We have also implemented scene transitions, random image generation, and touch handling to our memory game using Cocos2D and Xcode. Let's open the memory game project file by double-clicking the memory game Xcode proj file. Let's run the application to see the current status of the project. We can see that the application runs with a play menu and a background image. On clicking the play menu, another scene is loaded with a background image, a home menu, and 12 mask or frame images. Pressing any of the mask image will bring an animal image in place of the mask image. Pressing the home menu will load the main menu scene with play menu. Go to the gameplay scene once again and press the mask images. We can see that the images shown are in random order every time we reach the gameplay scene. Let's move forward and make modifications to this project. Open the gameplay scene interface file. Declare an integer object to store the image touch count. Go to the init method of the implementation file and initialize the image touch count object to 0. Now we have to implement this image touch counter when the touch is detected inside a mask image in the CCTouchesBegan method. So let's go to the CCTouchesBegan method. Increment the image touch count when the touch is detected on the mask images. Add the logic to reset the mask images after touching two mask images. We have to use image touch count object for this. If this object value is 2, then that means two mask images have been replaced by the animal images. In this case, we can call a selector method to reset the images after a delay of 2 seconds. This can be done using the perform selector with object after delay method. We have to also reset the image touch count object value in this section. Next, we have to implement the reset image method. Let's declare two integer objects to save the tags of the images touched and currently open in the interface file. Initialize both of these objects to 0 in the init method of the implementation file. Now go to the touch detection section inside the mask images. Here, if the image touch count value is 1, then set the value of the loop variable as the old tag value, i.e., old tag value will contain the tag of the first open sprite. Similarly, if the image touch count value is 2, then set the value of the loop variable as the new tag value, i.e., new tag value will contain the tag of the second open sprite. Go to the reset images selector method. Here, get the sprites that are opened using the old tag and new tag objects. We can use the getChildByTag method for this. Once we get the two sprites which are opened, the next step is to change the image of those sprites to the frame or the mask image. This can be done using the setTexture method of the sprite object. Now we have to disable touch for 2 seconds to the scene after touching the second sprite. For this, go to the region where the second sprite is opened in the CCTouchesBegan method. Disable touch to the scene by setting the isTouchEnabled property of the scene to no. Now re-enable touch inside the reset image method to reinstate touch to the scene after 2 seconds. Run the application to see how our code is working. Go to the gameplay scene by pressing the play menu. Open an image by pressing the mask image. Then open another image. Wait 2 seconds. We can see that the open images are closed to show the mask image after 2 seconds of opening the second image. So we have seen how to show the animal images on touching the mask image and how to reset the image to mask image after 2 seconds of opening the image. Now we have to implement the game logic to compare the two images opened at a time and see whether they are the same images or not. For this, let's go to the place in the implementation file of gameplay scene where the second image opening is identified. We have already saved the tag of the first opened image in the old tag object and that of the second opened image in the new tag object. We have to check whether the difference in values of these two tags is 6 or not. If the difference between these two tag values are 6, then it means that the player has opened two similar images. So in this case, let's call another selector method to handle the scenario in which same image is opened. We can call this method after a delay of 1 second. If the difference in values between the two tag values is not equal to 6, then we can call the Reset Image Selector method after 2 seconds. Let's implement this selector method, which will be called when the player has opened Same Image. Inside this, we have to get the sprites with tags as that of the value of old tag and new tag variables. For this, let's use the same code we used inside the Reset Image Selector method. We are going to scale the sprites to 0 scaling factor so that it will be disappeared from the scene. We can use the Action with Duration Scale method of CC Scale to class for this. This scaling is given as action to the sprites using the Run Action method of the sprite objects. The duration we have given here is 1 second, so that the sprites will be disappeared from the scene in 1 second. Now we have to re-enable Touch to reinstate Touch to our game scene. Run the application and go to the gameplay scene by pressing the play menu. Press the mask image to open the animal images. We can see that whenever we open the same animal image consecutively, those two images are getting disappeared from the scene. Reload the scene once again by going to the main menu scene and coming back. So in this section, we have seen how to implement the game logic for removing the images if the consecutive images selected are the same image and making the mask image reappear otherwise for our Cocos2D memory game using Xcode. By this, our game logic is almost ready.